And we're live with another episode of BS Busters. Um, Sorry if my joie de vivre is a little short today, but I have had a very busy day and I'm really, really tired. But before we get into it, I'd like to I'd like my co-host to introduce himself. Go ahead, sir. Introduce yourself.
Hello, this is Piggy Don from Video Game Facts, and for today's topic, we talk about gaming trends that both from the past and the present that we are currently getting sick and tired of.
Yes. Primarily focusing on current gaming trends we're getting tired of. So, let's get into it. So, what trend shall we jump into first? Because they're all shitty, but
I should talk about the whole indie horror trend from YouTube Let's Players.
Okay, go ahead. You do yours first.
It all started from this one indie horror game called Amnesia: The Dark Descent. It was so popular amongst Let's Players that it had its own custom story mode for Let's Players to stream through. But then came other indie horror games like Slender, Five Nights at Freddy's, Outlast, that they tend to abandon Amnesia for, and then the next trendy indie horror game, and the cycle repeats.
All right.
And right now, Five Nights at Freddy's is being abandoned for the next trendy indie horror game, Bendy and the Ink Machine, which is also coming to the Switch.
I've heard about it.
And right now it's currently on its fourth chapter, with the fifth chapter in the works.
Yeah, I've heard about it. So,
I mean, it pretty much shows that this type of trend is pretty much tampering with whatever influence those indie horror games might have to its respective genre. Because much like how people complain about horror movies these days, there's a lot of complaints about horror games these days, about how they're not scary anymore and such, or further lack of subtlety in their creep factor.
Okay.
To say.
All right, I guess it's my turn. Okay, I am tired of people putting online multiplayer components into single player games, like traditionally single player games. So like having online multiplayer for Final Fantasy 15, or having GTA Online for GTA 5, because it's like resources that should be going into the single player of your game are being taken away for online multiplayer. And it's like these games that have had this, like the single player is not that good. Another good example is Dragon Age Inquisition or Mass Effect 3, where there was like an online online multiplayer, and it was like, this single player is not that good. There's shit that's missing in the single player. Why? Why are you putting resources towards the online multiplayer? You know what I mean? That makes no sense. And it clearly shows that you can clearly see where resources were diverted and where the quality went down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean, like I find that particularly egregious. And here's another trend I'm getting tired of: people releasing VR games. Like, like when the Oculus Rift and the Vive came out, everyone's like, "Man, yeah,
Oh
VR,
yeah,
VR, VR."
oh yeah, it's another trend. Another trend that's getting tiresome. The whole VR. Everything must have a VR entry.
I mean, we've tried this shit so many times, and it failed every time. Like they tried it in the in the late '70s. They tried it in the mid '80s. They tried it in the early '90s. They tried it again in the early 2000s, and now they're trying it again in the late 2010s. I'm so tired of VR.
It's the same. It's the same with 3D. It's the same with 3D movies. The 3D gimmick.
Yeah, but 3D movies were a gimmick and they were meant to be fun. VR games typically are not really fun. Like typically, I mean, occasionally you'll get a VR game that's like, oh, that's cool. But by and large, VR isn't really adding anything. Like no one's doing anything creative or interesting with VR. It's a first person shooter in VR. It's like, man, do something cool with it. And they don't. And that kind of annoys me. So I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of VR. And I'm tired of people jumping on the MOBA bandwagon. Like straight up just doing MOBAs instead of, like, because everyone's trying to capture that Overwatch crown.
Or what about trendy mainstream games where they play a mainstream game only to abandon it for the next mainstream game? Get games like Undertale, Overwatch.
Yeah, but everyone does that. I mean, everyone, like, because everyone gets a game and they're like, oh, this game's great. Then the next game comes out and it's like, man, I really want to get back to that other game. When I say, I'm talking about like industry trends, like I said, like everyone trying to make an Overwatch clone,
Right.
that have failed.
Yeah,
like Boss Key tried it twice and failed both times. They tried to do Paragon or was it Paladin, whatever, Paragons or Paladins. And then Paladins, and then they tried to do it again with their Fortnite clone. It's like, do something unique and different. And I know, look, you might fail. You're right, you might fail, but you also might succeed.
And what's worse is that Paladins has a better chance of coming to the Switch before Overwatch.
Well, that's sad because Paladins sucks.
Correct. Although one YouTuber named Alphabet prefers Paladins over Overwatch because of how toxic that game's community is getting.
Well, I mean, it's their choice. I mean, you can do whatever you want.
We should mention the aforementioned first-person shooter trend.
How could we forget the biggest one of all? So many first-person shooters. I am so tired of this genre.
And before that, we had the whole trends with platformers featuring animals with attitudes, trying to piggyback on Sonic's success.
Yeah, and Sonic himself was the anti-Mario. Like basically, but I mean, the mascot platformers were interesting because they all were trying to basically create something slightly different with more to it, and sometimes it worked. Like Earthworm Jim was fun. The two games, the third one, the 3D one sucked, but the two mainline ones on 16-bit ones are really good. So I mean, it's like, sometimes trends can work, but most of the time it's not. Basically, I mean, all of these are basically, I'm tired of the Me Too, monkey see, monkey do thing, where one thing gets really popular and everyone copies it. And I know it's never going to stop because that's the nature of the industry, but it's just really disconcerting. Someone comes out with something, everyone starts copying it, and they always copy the wrong shit about it. Like, it's annoying.
Uh-huh.
But
and alongside with the mascot trend, there's also the 2D fighting games trend that Street Fighter 2 started.
Yeah, everyone wanted to be like that. Which in this case, I would say they went too far in the copying, because they would copy the format, like a 2D format, but they wouldn't copy the controls. So it would be a 2D fighter that had shitty controls. Because Street Fighter, I mean, for good or for bad, has really, really, really good controls.
Well, they probably made it different, so they don't want to get sued by Capcom for plagiarizing the control schemes.
Yeah, but you can't copyright control inputs, because if they were, Capcom would sue Mortal Kombat and Killer Instinct and every other 2D fighting game, because the forward button punch fireball attack is in all of their competitors, even SNK. Like, no one, you can't copy that. But I mean, like the myriads of bad 2D fighting games that were 2D fighting games that copied Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat that had shitty controls because they wanted to do something quote unquote different. Like, no, these controls are ass. No. But I know some people are going to get mad. They're going to be like, well, how could you not like that? Look, man, I'm a very, I'm tired of the Me Too, of the monkey see, monkey do. I'm going to copy what you do, but not well, or not take the right things from what you did. Like, I would love for there to be a 2D platformer that rivals a Mario game. And there is, but they're the Donkey Kong games, also from Nintendo. It's like no one no one's doing anything interesting, so
And let's see, any other gaming trends? Oh, what about the simulator trends? Like walking simulators, farming simulator, goat simulator, surgeon simulator.
yeah, but I mean, that trend doesn't really bother me. But if it bothers you, go for it.
Well, it doesn't bother me as much as the indie horror game trend.
Like I said, we're talking about trends that bother us. It doesn't really bother me, all the simulator trends, because all the simulator games, because they're different. Like, Goat Simulator isn't really a goat simulator, because the shit you can do in Goat Simulator has nothing to do with what goats actually do.
Right. It's supposed to parody It's supposed to parody simulators in general, as well as AAA games in general.
Yeah, and like Surgeon Surgeon Simulator is kind of like Trauma Team, but with more realistic graphics, or Viscera Cleanup, where you like go into a crime scene, you have to clean it up. I mean, it's like, there's a niche for that. Like, everyone trying to do games like that doesn't really bother me, because like all those games are so different. The only thing they have in common is that they have more realistic looks to them. It's not like they're, ultra realistic. So,
Right.
But I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just a man.
See, can focus on story over gameplay count as a trend?
Yeah, if you want to.
Probably because we know, we've been taught in the old days of gaming that gameplay comes first before story.
Well, I mean, I think it depends on the genre. It depends on the genre of game. If you're talking a RPG, not so much, because the story has to grab you over the gameplay. Because a lot of RPGs have very repetitive, kind of grindy gameplay in some sections. But if the story is good, you're going to roll with it. If you're talking about a 2D platformer or a 3D platformer, then the story could be inconsequential. It's the gameplay, it's the mechanics of what you're doing. If you're talking an adventure game, you need a balance of both. You need good gameplay and good story. It depends on what the genre is. Like a sports game, you don't care about the story. You just you want gameplay. You know.
Because remember how those old complaints about how Mario needs to get a deeper storyline because of how they're tired of the same old storyline over and over again, with Peach getting kidnapped by Bowser.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, like I said, like Mario games aren't really known for
deep, complex stories.
Yeah, like the reason. I mean, I don't know about other people, but the reason I play Mario games is for the platforming and the gameplay, like the level design and the platforming in those levels. Like that's what because I mean, like the story runs together. It's like it's either Bowser starting some shit, or typically it's Bowser starting some shit, or some other villain is starting some shit. It's always someone starting some shit, and it involves Princess Peach, and Mario has to do something about it. That's pretty much almost all the games. The only one that doesn't have that story is the second one on the Nintendo, where it's Wart is attacking Dreamland, and not Wart, Wart, who's attacking Dreamland, and it's like Princess Peach is a playable character. Like, but typically it's like Bowser's starting some shit, and Mario has to go on an adventure with his brother to save the princess in the world of the Mushroom Kingdom. Like that's okay. Like, because I mean, who cares about the story? Like, you don't need a lot of motivation in order to have this wacky adventure. Like, it's not supposed to be this deep story. Now, if you're playing a Mario RPG, yeah, you need a kind of a deeper story because it's an RPG. It's a role-playing game. You need more of an impetus aside from platforming, because you've never had good platforming in a Mario RPG, and you shouldn't, because it's an RPG. It requires a more methodical form of gameplay than what you have in a platformer.
Though Super Mario RPG, Mario and Luigi, and Paper Mario use platforming elements.
Yeah, they do, but I mean, no one could say that the platforming in a Mario RPG is on par with the platforming in a 2D Mario game, because it's not. Like nowhere close. Like not even across the street from a Mario from a conventional Mario game.
Right.
How's it going, Mr. A-Rod?
Hello.
That's your name, but I'm just gonna.
Okay.
All right. So, what's up, man?
Well, just trying to fix my gaming bedroom as of late. Just moving stuff out that I no longer want, like old books, stuff I no longer read and shit.
Well, you're just in time, because we were just talking about gaming trends that we're sick and tired of.
Yeah. And we went through a large list. I said VR, developers adding online gameplay to shit that's like a single player game just because.
I covered indie horror games from YouTube Let's Players, and the whole previous perhaps the whole simulator trends, and the whole trend of needing more story for every single game genre.
So, do you
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, do you have one?
Yeah, microtransactions.
Oh yeah. I'm tired of that.
And I see people still continue to buy this shit, even though it's very anti-consumer and whatnot.
Can I add an addendum to microtransactions?
Yeah.
I mean, the new Harry Potter mobile game is getting nothing but backlash from longtime fans of that series because of the microtransactions.
Here's my addendum. Here's my addendum to the microtransactions thing. Developers making games, and instead of coming out with a full and complete game, content that should be there, they cut some of it, they hold some of it back only to release it later as DLC. I hate that shit. I would rather you release a full game and then charge me after the fact, for an expansion, $20 for an expansion. Okay, here's a full and complete RPG that has 5 different continents that you travel on and explore. Each continent has 3 or 4 cities and maybe 7 towns and maybe 10 villages. And this DLC is going to add another continent with some extra dungeons, and some extra content, and it's a pretty decent sized continent, and it's $20. I would rather pay that than to have you sit there and sell me a game and then piecemeal it out bit by bit like they do with the microtransactions. Because I understand these people want to make money off their product. I'm not saying you should make money off of your product, but I mean, respect my money just like I respect your product. And it's not reciprocal.
I think Metal Gear Solid 5 had microtransactions in it.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
One of the reasons I didn't buy Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yep.
Even Bravely has microtransactions.
Really? Which one? The first or the second game?
The first one.
The first one and the second one had microtransactions.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you
didn't, basically, you got SP, but you could also get SP from leaving it in sleep mode. So it was basically you could cheat your way out of it by basically leaving the game on, closing it and plugging it in and just leaving it all night long in sleep mode because then you'd max out your SP. So it was I don't see the point of me giving you money. Basically it was typical Square Enix just trying to fuck people over because they think gamers are stupid. Because Square Enix loves thinking gamers are stupid because it's Square Enix, and what the fuck do they care?
It could be worse though. They could be EA.
Yeah. Square Enix is bad, but EA is worse because Square Enix has some type of respect for their fan base. EA does not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
EA is fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Yeah, another trend I'd like to bring up since I don't know if it's necessarily gaming related, but it's kind of gaming related. You know how I mentioned how CRT televisions are rising in popularity again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, recently I noticed that on sites like eBay and Amazon, some people are starting to demand lots of money for these old TVs because retro gamers are interested in them. The ones that I've noticed that have gone up in price a lot are the Sony Trinitrons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems to be the popular one for retro gamers. What else? But yeah, I've noticed people charging $200-$300 for one Sony Trinitron on eBay or something. Also the Sony PVM or professional monitors, those are going for a couple grand each. It's crazy.
Right. Anyone have anything else they want to
Not at the moment.
Anyone played Bloodstained Curse of the Moon?
What's up?
Anyone played Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, the little $10 indie create platformer?
Oh,
Made
that
kind of
game.
hold people over, yeah.
No, I haven't.
I have it on PC. It's kind of fun to play until the last level where the difficulty ramps up like mad. It's kind of like, come on, man. Or I think it's the last level. It's like after you get all the characters and you go to the pirate ship, it's like, fuck.
Is this the same? Is this the same Bloodstained that was announced a while years back, or is it?
No, it's the Inti Creates NES looking style, like
Yeah, I mean,
$10. It's like the little, $10 little thing. Not like it's not the AAA. It's not the one. It's not the one that's made with Unreal with the really pretty graphics and all that shit. It's not that one. It's the other one.
Oh, okay.
Another thing I'd like to bring up is people overcharging for retro video games.
Yeah, but that's not so much a trend. That's just like supply and demand, and also people stifling the supply so that they can raise the value of their collections. Those bastards.
Like people still want tons of money for Earthbound.
Yeah, but Earthbound was never a wide release. Like it's kind of. I mean, it's not Little Samson rare, but it's
Because people keep stockpiling, like just bought a ton of copies and just keep, I guess.
I don't think it's so much stockpiling it. I just think it's like Earthbound's a good game, and it wasn't widely released. Like it wasn't a huge run because it didn't sell that well initially. So Nintendo, like they made that initial release, they were like, "Fuck it, that's it." So, like, because I have an Earthbound, I have a copy of Earthbound with the original box set, and like it's I mean I could sell it, but I mean.
Did you buy it brand new?
I got it when it came out.
Oh, wow.
So it was brand new. And I kept my stuff together because I'm anal retentive like that about stuff like that. But yeah, I mean it was just a very short because basically Earthbound's competition when it came out was Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Lufia 2, Breath of Fire 2, like all these games that looked really impressive. Like the brilliance of Earthbound isn't its look, it's its gameplay systems and story. And its presentation, but it's not like a graphically impressive looking game, which kind of brought it down a little bit because people didn't know how to market it. So, it's like I have a Virtual Boy, and there was only like they made like maybe 1 million of them, but they only shipped like half of that. So
I've noticed that the Sega Saturn version of Mega Man 8 has gone down in price, and I remember when they were selling that like the incomplete for like $200 online.
Yeah, but I mean, I just don't see Mega Man as being that because the reason I don't see the Mega Man games as being that valuable is because you can get them in so many different ways because Capcom's re-released that shit so many times,
Oh, you want to like? Well, I'd like to tell you this. Like, have you seen how much X3 has been going online for?
No, I haven't.
Like I've been seeing copies, like loose copies, go for like around $300 loose.
Damn, that's ridiculous.
Same with Mega Man 7 as well.
I'm glad I kept my Mega Man games for my SNES.
Yep.
Mega Man 1, 2, 3. I don't think I had Mega Man 7 physically. I think I have one of the Mega Man collections that has it, like the old ones for the PS2 GameCube era.
Yep.
I have Mega Man and Bass for the Famicom, which I always felt that should have been the last Mega Man game on the SNES to bridge the gap between Mega Man and X. But whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Good thing I got X3 for the Saturn. It's like,
and it's a good thing that only the good Mega Man X games are on Legacy Collection 1, whereas Legacy Collection 2 has the bad ones, so it can discard the digital code for it if you bought the Switch version at least.
I'm about to say something that's going to make some people very upset, but I don't really care. I think the best Mega Man games were the best X games were X 1 through 4. I think after 4, it started to go downhill.
I'm pretty sure everyone will agree with you on that one.
And I think when Capcom...
Yeah, X5 was okay. It wasn't
that's
the best.
The thing. It was like, I think that the ones on the SNES were like, you could see where it was getting better and better and better. But then X3 is when they start to run out of ideas. And then X4s were like, they were out of ideas, but we could still kind of drudge something together, like gameplay wise. But then X5, X6, X7, it's just like, okay, enough, fuck enough.
Should have ended at X5.
Really, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, like another gaming trend is like people still complaining about certain games. People complaining about a certain game for years after its launch.
Oh, you must be talking about Mega Man Zero.
Actually, Wind Waker.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
Yeah.
People are still complaining about that game because I thought a lot of people love that game now.
Nah, they're still complaining about how it wasn't what was shown in the 2000 Space World demo.
Just like how people are still complaining about Skyward Sword and Metroid Prime Other and Metroid Other M and Federation.
No, I'll complain about Skyward Sword. There's some valid reasons why that game has some issues. I mean, it's a gorgeous looking game. Some of the ideas they have in it are really good ideas. The execution wasn't there. That's my one gripe with Skyward Sword. That's about it. Other than that, it's a pretty good game.
Yeah, well, like those people are still complaining about Star Fox Adventures, even though it wasn't really supposed to be a traditional Star Fox game.
It probably would have been better had it not been a traditional Star Fox game. I don't know why people think everything needs to be
the same formula repeated.
Like, I would have been happier had it just starred Crystal and been its own thing and not been, a Star Fox game, because it felt weird.
Well, had it been its own thing, then Microsoft would have gotten its hands on it.
Well, it was going to be Dinosaur Planet on the N64.
I would have been happier had it just been Dinosaur Planet on the N64 with just dinosaurs and shit. Like, I don't really, like, I'm not like, oh my god.
I also even liked Assault in a way, because it was like, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was at least different from the old Star Fox games. At least it was tried some.
Yeah, I tried to do something different.
Would like to see another Star Fox game in that style again.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I would love. If they did another Star Fox game and it had the controls of and they took the ideas from Assault, polished up the controls for On Foot, like majorly polished up those damn controls, but they were shit on foot.
Maybe maybe adding like RE4's control scheme for the On Foot sections.
I don't think the stop when you aim to shoot would work.
Yeah, like something like that, but remove that option.
Yeah, like make it a little bit more fluid, because I mean, even though they're on foot, you still want them to have that fluidity that you kind of enjoy when they're in vehicles. Maybe like they play, like how they would control on foot would be an extension to how they control their planes, how their R-wings control. So like maybe Fox would be the fastest, but he would have the shittiest health. But I mean, he'd be fast, but maybe a little slippery. Maybe
Fox is supposed to be the jack of all trades.
Well, I mean, because it's a fox, and foxes are kind of, they're kind of wily. And maybe Slippy would be kind of slow, but he'd have like really high shields. Heavy would be like in the middle, but he'd have like the highest base health. Maybe Falco would be kind of like slower than Fox, faster than Peppy and Slippy. But maybe maybe his weapon would let him do technical shots. Like his gun could like bounce. He could bounce shots off of walls and shit. So he'd be like the technical character. And then I don't know what Peppy would use. Like they'd be but whatever. Like actually have mission variation. And stop using that orchestrated music from Star Fox 64 because I'm sorry, I fucking hate that music. I know people are gonna get mad at me when I say that because they're like, "You don't like Star Fox 64's music?" Nope.
I mean, Star Fox Zero using a completely different theme, at least.
Yeah, they use a lot of remixes of the Star Fox 64 music. It's like Nintendo can't let that shit go. I'm like. Because me personally, I preferred the original Star Fox music because it was like techno rock basically, except for a few levels where it kind of went, like they did like a waltz in Sector Y, which was kind of cool. But like I need something different, damn it.
So what else is getting annoying and what annoying trends? People still like riding a console like for like just sort of struggling from the get. I don't know. Like maybe you could help me out with this one.
People shitting on the Xbox One and the Wii U, even though the Wii U is no longer a supported console.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just remember one gaming trend that I'm getting sick and tired of. Games that used to be a fad that died out should not be bring back and should stay dead because it's a dead fad. Like for example, Pokemon. When the fad died in the early 2000s, people want to forget that Pokemon existed. And every time there's a new game over there, people will complain about how it's still alive. And it should have stayed there.
Yeah, but Pokemon is a fad that's still going on. Like it's still like really fucking hot. I mean, if it wasn't a fad, people wouldn't be playing Pokemon Go. That's still going pretty strong.
And this is coming from the people who haven't played any Pokemon games outside of the original 151 or 251.
Yeah, maybe they played Silver and Gold. Yeah, listen, Pokemon is popular. It has that nostalgia thing for those people who hadn't played it for a long time. Now, I've played a lot of Pokemon games. I've played most of them except Black and White 2 because I was like, I'm not playing this shit because it's literally almost the same damn game. Like, they added no new Pokemon. The story was slightly different. It was like a continuation of the story, but they added no new Pokemon. I was like, fuck that shit.
What did you expect? They don't add new Pokemon on third versions or sequels.
Just period. I was just like, no, I'm not. No. Even Leaf Green and Fire Red added new Pokemon.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
They only added second gen.
Leaf Green and Fire Red had new Pokemon compared to what were in the original 151. So yeah, that was new Pokemon. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. They did have new Pokemon because once you beat the game, you could go to those weird special islands and get new Pokemon.
Those are Johto Pokemon, which are
but they weren't in the original game, so that's adding new Pokemon.
Huh.
Yeah, if it's not in the original game and there's Pokemon that weren't supposed to be there, that's new Pokemon. For people who did not play that, that's new. Oh shit, I don't remember seeing this in Red and Blue. That's new.
Did the Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald games include? Oh yeah, they did include new Pokemon, I think. Oh.
Yeah, and Emerald post game.
Only Black and White didn't include new Pokemon. Black and White 2. It was literally you had the same starters. The same Pokemon. It's just they continue the story.
Just a sequel.
Well, actually, Red Fox they updated the Pokédex to include older gen Pokemon.
Okay, fine then. Yeah, you could actually go. You didn't have to use the special park. You could actually catch some of your. So I guess they did include some of the old ones. Oh well. Yeah, they did. That was my loss. I didn't get to play with my old Pokemon that I had anyway. but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, I mean, I have to agree. I do think that there's a certain amount of like people kind of thinking that it's a fad, but I mean, Pokemon never went anywhere. It's a big thing. I mean, the Pokemon company has been growing for what, like
20 years, 20 plus
since
years.
the shit came out. Yeah, if it wasn't a continued fad, they wouldn't still be making money. So I mean, that's all I got to say.
Yeah, same thing with Nintendo in general. That like people say that that they were a fad that died out, yet they're still around today.
They're irrelevant, but they're still they're expanding. Now, for you Xbox fans out there, and I know we said we wouldn't talk about it, for you Xbox fans out there, Microsoft's been firing people. They shuttered studios. They canceled games. High profile games too. But they're fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They're fine. Nintendo the ones that need help.
Yep. Same thing with Sony. I think that's the case. Like Sony fans like to spout that more than Microsoft fans, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, Microsoft fans know that Microsoft's up shit's creek.
Yep.
They're like, not the company in general, the Xbox division.
Yeah.
The Xbox, those poor bastards. Shit's not working out for them. That's all I got to say.
And the Sony fans just refuse to admit that Sony's in the same spot as well.
Basically, yeah. Because I mean, I'm sorry, but the PS4 has been the most lackluster Sony console I've ever seen.
Greatness awaits,
and
forever.
Still waiting on it. Still waiting on greatness because it's just a lackluster console. And I know people are gonna get mad at me. They're gonna be like, "How can you say that it's lackluster and that you don't care?"
And I don't think we should count Detroit Become Human as greatness, since it's yet another mediocre David Cage game.
And it's an insult to Detroit and the state of Michigan in general. I'm sorry, like I'm from Michigan. I mean, I like there could be wish there were better games to better represent Michigan or Detroit in general.
Man, you know what would be cool, and I know this kind of wouldn't represent Detroit, but I have a lot of relatives from there. So, I mean, not from there, who live there. You know, if you want to do something cool, like something cool that, well, it doesn't really represent the city, but I just think it'd be cool. Do a RoboCop game.
Yeah, probably.
do a RoboCop game, like set in the future, like after the events of the first two movies, because the third one didn't happen, and that reboot didn't happen either. That reboot where they're like, this is a crime-ridden city, and there's just some homeless people warming themselves near a barrel fire. I'm like, that's how you're going to show crime in Detroit? Really? Really? Yeah, these homeless people are loitering. Crime is rampant.
And the game expects us to believe that people.
Or how about a Beverly Hills? How about like a Beverly Hills Cop style game? Yeah,
that'd be cool. You could do a riff off of GTA, except instead of like a criminal, it's Axel Foley.
Yeah.
And you could even get a copy of that black guy who's the chief who just curses him out all the time. Damn it, Axel! I told you to get your black ass in there.
Yeah.
You stay the hell away from it. Okay, Chief. The mayor just finished chewing out my ass. I just looked at it, Chief. You still got a little ass left. I told you, Foley, don't fuck around with me. Look, I'm a fan of the Beverly Hills Cop movies, except for the third one. That one kind of sucked. But the first two are really good. Yeah, I'd love that. A GTA-esque style game set in Detroit, where Axel Foley, maybe you could have a young Axel Foley working himself up the ladder, becoming, the Axel Foley we know and love. You could even have the theme music for Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah, but like set in the early '80s or something, like some good old '80s music as well.
Yep, that'd be fucking awesome.
It would be.
I would totally play that game. of course, I'm the guy who totally wants a GTA game set in the 70s, so I can just listen to 70s music, blaxploitation style 70s music, and just have people get shot for no reason.
And when are we going to get a GTA game taking place in the 60s?
Actually, there were.
There were. Godfather 2. Godfather 2 took place.
I mean, an actual GTA game, not a GTA clone.
Yeah, there were.
Godfather 2 really was kind of.
There was the GTA London 61 and 69. I think.
The first 2 GTA games on PC took place in the 60s.
Oh, okay. Then what about the 50s then?
Nah, I don't think.
I guess the closest you go with the first Mafia, the second Mafia game, but that game sucks. Mafia is not a good game. Mafia 3 is pretty good, but the studio that made that went out of business. So 2K continues their legacy of destroying studios.
Oh yeah, like one thing I'd like to see is like a Yakuza like game set in Detroit or something like that. That'd be kind of
that'd be
interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know if it would take place in the Yakuza universe or maybe be like some sort of a spin-off or something.
I'd be cool with that.
Yeah.
Like have Kazuma Kiryu and Goro Majima show up. That'd just be hilarious.
Yeah.
Have the Yakuza against the Korean Tong, against the Japanese, the Chinese triads.
Yeah, maybe the Italians, the Italian mafia or something.
Yeah, but if it was done, I really wouldn't want it to be handled by Japan because they'd have some really shitty voice actors or really bad interpretations of the Japanese mafia. And I don't need racist caricatures of people from Japan because that's one of the things that kind of prevents me from enjoying the Yakuza games because they have really bad interpretations of people who aren't Japanese. It's like, dude, that's just not cool, bro.
Yeah, they probably just don't know any better or something.
Normally I would say that, but Japanese is such a global nation these days. It's like you can't even say, well, we don't know that many people from blah blah blah.
Yeah, pretty much. What else? So have you heard about that new Sony's releasing a PS1 Classic?
I never heard of that rumor before.
If it's true, I wouldn't be surprised because Sony is so fucking unoriginal.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nintendo does some shit. Hey, it works. Let's copy them. Even the original PlayStation was just some shit they copied from Nintendo.
Yeah, it's like the most boring looking console ever.
Yeah, but it sold because they paid off a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people.
What else? It's another bad trend. People rallying on a certain company after an E3 presentation, with 2015.
Yeah, but people rallying around something because they want it to be true, not because objectively. I remember last year when Microsoft came to E3 and just showed nothing except the Xbox One X. No games for the Xbox One X. No exclusive features for the Xbox One X, and even the exclusive features they did hype up turned out to be bullshit. And there were Xbox fans like, "Yeah, Microsoft, good job." I'm like, really? And Sony didn't show anything either. Sony is like,
they keep showing trailers.
Trailers
to games sell probably. Trailers are.
And we also have this one Muppet reminding us about Nintendo E3 2008, 10 years ago. That was supposedly one of their worst years.
Wii Music.
Oh, so that's why people hated it, was because of Wii Music?
Yeah.
Well, that was the symbol. It was Wii Music. Even though Wii Music was a game. Here's the thing. Literally last year Microsoft had their E3 and they showed nothing except the Xbox One X and games that already were out for the Xbox One running on the Xbox One X. They showed no new games whatsoever. None.
And
Wii Music is a new game.
Also, 2015, like E3 2015, I remember people like just ripping on Nintendo for like, I don't know, no reason whatsoever. Even though they announced that there would be no surprises. Yeah,
I just think like I think people just like bitching. It's just because it's fun.
Yeah.
Let's bitch about Nintendo. Why? Because it's fun. And we need a reason to bitch and complain about shit because that's what we do. We bitch and complain about shit.
Or complain about them not announcing any hardcore games, instead casual games that appeal to the casual audience.
But I think most of their games are hardcore games. Like the only casual games that Nintendo has are
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, but I mean, the people who get the most enjoyment out of Animal Crossing are people who play it hardcore. Like the people who are willing to do, because I have Animal Crossing on the GameCube, and I was one of those people who did all of that shady backyard illicit stuff to get all the NES games in Animal Crossing. Like I'm one of those guys. Like casuals don't care about that shit, you know. Let's see. I'm trying to think of a like purely casual game that Nintendo has.
The Wii series, such as Wii Sports, Wii Play.
Yeah, Wii Sports, but those games. I mean, I guess Labo's kind of casual right now.
What else?
Labo, yeah, Labo. I mean, you can't say Mario's casual because it has Champion Road in it. Like almost every Mario game has a Champion Road, Star Road type thing where it's like, oh, you think this game's easy? Well, let me kick you in the balls a few times. And then you can tell me how easy this game is.
Kirby games are traditionally casual as well.
Yeah, people say Kirby games are casual, but Kirby games have modes in them where it's like the True Arena and Kirby Ultra Star, or like trying to find all those damn treasures in the Great Cave Offensive. That is not for casual people, because some of those, it's like you have to be a hardcore gamer to get to 100% of those games. So I would say I'd say Kirby's easier to get into, but maybe the Yarn games, Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Another trend that I've noticed that's become popular as of late is like people like begging for Goku to be in Smash Bros.
Oh man, they've been doing that for years though. They've been doing that since the GameCube era. Since Melee.
About as long as Ridley is too big means.
No, because they wanted Ridley in Brawl. That's when that kind of took off. Literally, they've wanted Goku in Smash Brothers since Melee. And Melee was an early game for the GameCube, and that's how long they wanted fucking. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. I'm tired of it.
It's gotten so intense that people actually got hurt over whether or not Goku should be in Smash. I read it from a GameFAQs thread. I'll show you a link to it.
What, people were getting their ass kicked about it?
Yep.
Damn. Like physically getting their ass kicked?
Yep.
That's fucked up, man.
I found it. Posted right here on the group chat.
That's messed up, man.
Basically, this guy fell down on a building during a fight again on the argument of whether or not Goku should be in Smash, and he broke his bones on his arm, which could possibly ruin his.
I hate to say this, but nerds shouldn't be fighting over this shit. Besides, we all know the character who should be in Smash Brothers before Goku. Chrono from Chrono Trigger. Because then you get a guy who looks like a Saiyan but has a sword like Trunks.
Or maybe one of the main characters from Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I mean, really, and here's the thing. Okay, look, I'm not saying that Goku shouldn't be in Smash Brothers, but I'm going to tell you, if you're going to put Goku in Smash Brothers, it should be Kid Goku from Dragon Ball. Just to troll people. Since Sakurai likes to troll people, I think that's the perfect character to put in Smash Brothers.
What about Vegeta?
Yeah, but Vegeta's basically like Goku light. I mean, basically, it's like, he's Goku. Okay, if Goku is Sonic, Vegeta is Shadow. It's like you're basically the same character.
And funny enough, Sonic gets compared to Dragon Ball for one ripping off the other.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, I hate to say that, and that's why I'm saying people want Goku in Smash Brothers. Go ahead, but put Kid Goku in there from Dragon Ball, because then he wouldn't be OP as fuck.
Besides, we already got Goku in Smash. His name is Lucario.
I think people are begging for Snake to come back to Smash.
God.
Well, there's a rumor saying that Snake is indeed coming back.
Please,
what?
God, no.
Please.
Please.
It's from the same guy who
No.
it's from the same guy who leaked the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the Injustice 2 DLC.
Please, God, no. Please, God.
But people miss Snake from the Brawl days.
No.
No. I'd like to see a Resident Evil character instead of Snake.
Hell, I'd rather have Leon. Hell, I'd rather have Jill Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, I'd rather have Barry. You'd be a Jill sandwich.
Or Claire Redfield, anyone? Or is that a bit too niche?
I'd rather have Krauser.
Yeah, it'll make a lot more sense than freaking Snake.
What about Lara Croft? I mean, she's more iconic than Snake.
No, she isn't. Lara Croft is not more iconic than Snake.
She's not more iconic than Samus.
No, she's not. No.
Though people like to claim that she is.
Like, let me put it this way: if Nintendo's mainline characters are top tier iconography, like Mario, Link, Princess Zelda, Donkey Kong, then you've got like second tier characters. Second tier is like Simon Belmont, Joe Hayabusa,
Mega Man.
Well, Mega Man used to be first tier, but Capcom fucked up, so now he's second tier. First tier is like Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, these are characters that even people who don't play video games know these characters. So I guess Mega Man is still first tier because even people who don't play video games know who Mega Man is. Like, second tier is like characters who are popular, but not popular enough where people who don't even play video games would know them. Like, Lara Croft is popular, but she's not like Mario and Link popular. Because even
she's not even Samus popular.
Oh no, Samus is top tier. Samus is top tier popularity.
What else? Like, I guess Cloud is like second tier. What'd you say?
What?
Cloud second tier?
No, Cloud's first tier because even people who don't, even people who don't play Final Fantasy know who Cloud Strife is because of
how mainstream
popularity. Yeah.
Like, what would you say? Squall from Final Fantasy VIII is a second tier character.
He's third tier because even people who don't know, like people who don't know Final Fantasy don't know who he is. Like, he's forgettable.
like Final Fantasy VIII is.
Yeah, it's very forgettable. You know that song by Nat King Cole, Unforgettable? Squall is the opposite of that. He's forgettable. As a matter of fact, Final Fantasy VIII is forgettable.
Speaking of games with multiple protagonists, which assassin from the Assassin's Creed series would be a tier 1 character? Ezio?
Yeah, I guess Ezio is tier 1 because he's the most popular Assassin's Creed character, maybe followed by Desmond because he's also really popular, even though they fucking killed him off in Assassin's Creed 3 because Square Enix does not give a shit about continuity or characters.
You mean Ubisoft?
So yeah, whatever. They both don't give a shit about their characters.
Yeah, like, has there been any like begging for Ezio to be in Smash at all?
Nope.
Okay,
No.
thank God.
I don't want, like, for me.
But there are people asking for Steve from Minecraft.
I guess we can move on to our second, our free topic, characters that you'd like to see in Smash Brothers. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first. Well, obviously, like one of my Travis touchdowns, my first one.
Oh yeah.
Leon S. Kennedy's my second one.
Yep.
Zero from Mega Man X, number 3, though it's highly unlikely.
Cool. I like that.
Maybe,
I mean, because they had Mega Man, so why not add
Yeah.
Zero?
Yeah, maybe like you, the main character of Persona 4, you, Narukami, even though, like, I mean, Persona Q was on the 3DS, and he's a playable character in that game.
Yeah.
People are asking for Joker instead of you.
I think you is more popular than Joker. I think Persona 4 is just, I mean, Persona 5 is a wonderful game, but Persona 4 just, I think it had better characters.
And the last one I had on the list that I did way back when was Asuka from Senran Kagura.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I guess I have to go second as well. First choice is King K. Rool from the Donkey Kong series, and
Cool.
he is long overdue. Second choice is a female Pokemon trainer, assuming that Pokemon trainer comes back revamped as a summon character like Yugi from the Jump All-Stars games on the DS. Third choice is Banjo-Kazooie, since Phil Spencer has just stated that he has already expressed his interest in wanting them in the Smash game. My fourth choice would be Marks from the Kirby series, now that Star Allies has given him a proper moveset they could work out with. And my final choice would be Captain Toad, since we need all of the eight important Mario characters in the roster right now.
Okay. I'm not doing a huge list. I'm just doing 3 characters. Obviously, I've said this before. Any of the characters from Chrono Trigger, but I would prefer Chrono just because he's you don't need to do a lot of stuff with him. You make him to another sword character, but with overpowered as fuck specials. Simon Belmont, because he's fucking Simon Belmont. And I'm gonna go once again Earthworm Jim.
Oh, interesting.
Because just think about the awesome moveset he could have. Just like attacking people with his head and shit. That'd be cool. Yeah, that's it. I'm not going with a huge list because it makes no sense to go with a huge list.
One thing I'd like to ask you, like which anime characters would you like to see in Smash Bros, even though it probably won't happen?
Oh, I'll go first. Jotaro Kujo from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
One Punch Man.
Yeah, for me, I'd probably go with like maybe Conan from Detective Conan. Like number one would be probably Priss from Bubblegum Crisis.
That'd be cool.
Also, like Sakura from Sakura from Sakura Wars. Even though like she's a video game character, like they did make an anime series out of that.
Yeah. How about Doraemon from Doraemon? Even though he's not really a fighter, yeah, he's a robot cat thing. He's a robot cat thing. Alien robot cat thing creature.
Lupin would make a good Smash Bros. Character.
Yes, he would. Lupin would be a great Smash Brothers character, and his special attacks would be him stealing other characters' special attacks.
Yeah.
like he can steal Samus's like his B neutral would be him stealing an attack. He could steal characters' B special. Like he can steal Samus's charge beam. He can steal Link's bombs. Just steal
would his Final Smash involve getting chased by Zenigata?
I think his final smash should be him getting his crew together and them just doing like this massive super heist thing that does massive damage to everything on the screen.
What
like
about
if you get hit by it, it's instant KO.
What about like Fujiko Mine, or is she too risque for Smash?
I mean, if they put Bayonetta in there, then I'm pretty sure Fujiko would just fit right in. Pun included.
Yep.
Well, I gotta go now because my dinner's ready.
That's okay, man. We're still going. We got another 23 minutes before it's over.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I mean, personally, I think I would rather them do a like Smash Brothers-esque game of just centered around anime characters, because then it could be even wackier than throw them into the thing. But let's do the roster. We could have Tatsunoko anime character, manga / anime characters. We could have
Madhouse anime characters.
Yeah, well, I'm like, here's the thing. I'm not. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm not up to my anime thing, so it's like I know very few. Tatsunoko, I know because I read a lot of their shit. The guy who does the Fist of the North Star and its spinoffs, even though Kenshiro would be overpowered as fuck. You punch that guy like 50 cajillion times and he's dead. He's not dead yet. He has 5 seconds to live.
Huh. Maybe like any Gynax characters, Evangelion.
You can add them, but I'm not a huge Evangelion fan.
Yeah.
You can add them. Yeah, you could include the Koei Tecmo people. Not Koei Tecmo. You could include the shit. I forgot the name. Never mind. Sorry.
Studio Sunrise characters, like from Cowboy Bebop or Code Geass or something like that.
Yeah, you could do that. I forget which studio did Outlaw Star. Like, I want to see some of the more obscure animes and mangas being brought back up, because I mean, everyone knows Evangelion, everyone knows Cowboy Bebop.
Not many people know Bubblegum Crisis.
It's really popular in Japan.
Yeah.
Afro Samurai.
Yeah, I haven't seen Afro Samurai at all.
Oh, Sam Jackson is a black samurai with an afro, cussing people out while killing them horrifically. Oh, Sam Jackson cussing is he already got me in. But Afro Samurai.
What else? Probably throw in, like, I don't know if you've heard of this little show from the late 90s. It's one of the most awkward shows I've ever seen. Like, it's basically just it's called Agent Ica.
I've heard of that one.
Oh my god! It's just basically like all the fan service laden shows, the anime series that are coming out today, like High School DxD, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you thought those shows had like tons of fan service, wait till you see Ica. You're like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, I can see that. I tell you what also would be cool. Ninku. That's an old one.
What series?
Ninku. Ninku is about these group of weird looking people. They're like kids who are like the last remnants of this ancient ninja clan that's being hunted down, and they all have insane ninja abilities, but they look really fucking weird. Like, they're really weirdly drawn, but they have awesome it's like manga special abilities and stuff. It's like Naruto without the shitty ending.
Yeah.
It's like Naruto without the shitty ending. It's called Ninku. I don't know. Like, manga is so pervasive and there's so many, it'd be hard to choose. So I'm thinking maybe like just 3 groups.
Oh yeah, like who else? Like, I forgot to bring this up. Like which anime character I'd like to see in Smash? Golgo 13.
Oh yeah, he'd be fun. He'd be a fun character.
Because there were a couple of like Golgo 13 games released on the NES.
Oh yeah, and I've heard that the one on the NES is actually a really good game. I've never played it.
There were 2 on the NES. There was like Top Secret Mission and the Mafat Conspiracy.
Yeah, from what I've seen of that game, it is it's incredibly uncensored. Like there's things in it where it's like, this game got past it. This game got past the censor, really?
There was some stuff taken out, but not all of it. A lot of it's still
he's still sleeping with women in order to get health before GTA, bro. Before GTA.
Yep. And the manga's been going on for like 5 decades now.
Yeah, he's like James Bond with no conscience.
Yep.
Which is actually pretty fucking badass. It's like Bond, but not Bond.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that like the creator Takao Saito is actually planning to end the series soon. He's actually planning on retiring.
Well, I mean, it was a good run. I mean, they need him and the dude who does Conan. It's like, look, wrap this shit up in a bow so we can go and start watching something else, man. Because this shit's ridiculous. Although apparently, in terms of episodes alone, it's gonna be surpassed by One Piece eventually. Damn you, One Piece!
One Piece has been going on. Like, has how many episodes? Like over 1,000.
893.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 893 anime episodes. It's probably more than that because of the manga. But
like, what are there any anime series that have over 1,000 episodes by chance?
Not sure.
Fairy Tail?
I would say Astro Boy. No, because Fairy Tail ended. I would say Astro Boy, but Astro Boy has always been on and off. Like it's not continuous. Continuous, I want to say, I'm not sure.
What else?
There is a continuous. I've already said I don't want to see Goku in Smash Brothers. I don't want to see his ass in Smash Brothers. Please, God, don't put Goku in Smash Brothers.
I also don't want to see Naruto in Smash Brothers.
No, because it would be Goku 2.0. But if you had to put Naruto in it, if you had to put a Naruto character in Smash Brothers, put Rock Lee, because he deserves to be in Smash Brothers.
I don't even like Naruto at all.
I don't like Naruto. Well, no. I like Naruto. I just don't like the main character of Naruto. I don't like the characters that they kind of funnel you towards liking. They're like, you like Sasuke, don't you? You like Naruto, don't you? No, they're assholes. I like Rock Lee. Because, I mean, his final smash could be him taking off his leg weights and then him going to town on people. You get 20 seconds of Rock Lee fucking people up. That would be totally awesome. I would play that game. I'd be like, you know what? I don't think manga character should be in Smash Brothers, but Rock Lee, you're okay with me. Yes, that was an inadvertent rhyme. Rock Lee, not to be confused with Brock Lee.
Oh God.
Yeah, I had to go with it. But yeah, Rock Lee fanboy here. Let's see who else. Yeah, but I just don't want to see Naruto or Dragon Ball characters or Dragon Ball Z characters, Dragon Ball Super.
What else? I don't want to see any One Piece characters in either.
No.
Yeah.
Like I said, it'd probably be better just to like make just do like Shonen Jump All Stars, except for a bigger for home console. Although it would be a licensing nightmare. But it would be totally be worth it. I would be okay with that. Like, and here's the thing: don't use mainline really popular characters. Use smaller characters that need the exposure. So you wouldn't have Goku or Luffy or Monkey D. Luffy.
You have characters like maybe like Lupin, Fujiko, Pris.
I'd be cool with that.
Who else?
Kinshiro from Fist of the North Star. The dude from Devilman. It'd be be like the second and third string character, but they need exposure too. And just say like, look, we're using the other characters. Maybe have a brawl like story mode.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, speaking of which, did you want to like move on to like to talk about E3? That's coming up in like a week and a half, I think, right?
I have no idea. I've not been paying attention to E3 because I have other things to do with my life. But sure, why not? Let's bring up E3. So what are your thoughts on E3?
Well, other than Nintendo's press conference, I have really not all that interested. Like, all the other conferences are probably going to be average or mediocre.
I agree. I think E3 this year is going to be shit because basically Sony has no incentive to show anything worthwhile. Microsoft.
They're probably going to show off the PS5 or something.
No, they're not going to show the PS5.
They're not?
Because they still want the PS4 to sell. Because they don't have a Vita. Look, they don't have the Vita to be like, yeah, look at the Vita to fall back on. So they have to push the PS4 right now and the services that they want people to buy with PS4, which is why you have all these online components so that they can fucking sell you the online.
Microsoft will probably reveal the Xbox 2.
No, they don't. No, not when they showed the Xbox One last year. No. Microsoft is going to have to come out big. The problem is that I don't know what they can. Like, I don't think they have anything big to show. You know, it's one of those things where it's kind of like where you've been getting D's and C's, and you need an A, but you don't have enough grasp of the information to get an A, so you're basically fucked. That's basically where Microsoft is at.
And they might not be in the game industry any longer.
Yeah. I think. I mean, the only thing they could show. Like, here's what they could show to kind of pull out something for this year, because Sea of Thieves came out and it did nothing. Like State of Decay 2 came out and it's a fucking embarrassment. So basically, the only thing they can do is to show 3 games. Okay. Here are the 3 games that they can show that are gonna not put them back into the game, because I don't think they can get back in the game, but like show people that, hey, you own an Xbox One X, congratulations. If they show
Halo?
Yeah, Halo 6, if they show Crackdown 3, and if they show some really cool, like, just what, I don't know what genre of game it would be, but something
Lost
really
Odyssey.
cool.
Lost Odyssey.
Nah. JRPGs don't do well on Xbox console.
Oh yeah.
It's got to be some really cool game that's really compelling that gets people energized. If they can show 3 games, 2 known IPs, 1 new that's really energizes people to say, wow, the Xbox One looks awesome, then they can show people they're serious about the console. Are they going to do that? Probably not. So you can say, I mean, I'm calling it right now. The Xbox One is probably, we're done. And it's going to be sad because you're going to lose more competition in the industry. And you need competition in the video game industry because you get stagnation, which is what we have between the Xbox One and the PS4. It's just total fucking stagnation. It's the reason why the 8th gen has been completely lackluster for those 2 consoles, to me.
Like, who would replace Microsoft, though? Would Samsung jump in?
I mean, if a company's going to jump in with a new console to take the place of Microsoft, if they bow out completely, it's probably going to be some Chinese company with a lot of money to burn.
You don't see Samsung joining in?
Nah, because they just do TVs. They have no incentive to want to make a home console, because then they're going to have to put a lot of money into a home console that's going to be a losing proposition until they get their foot in the door. And even then, there's no guarantee they're going to make money, because that's what happened to Microsoft.
Well, I mean, South Korea there's a big gaming culture in South Korea. Like, I mean, StarCraft's popular there.
Yeah, but it's PC games, not home console games. Like, home consoles and handhelds don't do well in Korea. Like, PC gaming is big in China, but home consoles and handhelds don't really do well there. Established, like, the pirate shit does well, but not like established stuff. That's why I'm thinking if it's going to be a home console, it's going to be like it's going to be China. It's going to be a company that has a lot of money to burn and wants to get into the industry and wants to like prove that they're badass. So it's going to be like, you know, someone like, I don't know, but it's not going to be, you know,
Samsung or LG. Not going to be Samsung or LG.
No.
Nah.
Nah.
Who else? Oh yeah, Square Enix is having a press conference this year, and you know, seems that Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out this year.
Yeah, it's probably going to come out, and it's probably not going to be very good.
What did I miss?
No, we're talking about E3
we're talking about
now.
E3, yeah.
You know what? Like the Final Fantasy VII remake is still in development.
Yeah, because they had to scrap all the old work and start on new work. And I'm like, why would you show a game? Why would you show a demo? Not a demo, like a teaser reel of gameplay of like a prototype before you're ready to show it. Like that makes no fucking sense. But it's Square Enix, so
wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised if its development gets shifted over to the PS5.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you know.
And all that controversy on Final Fantasy VII Remake is alluded to a fortune teller's prediction on a Game Informer video, where they visit a fortune teller predicting what's going to happen at this year's E3. Basically, for Microsoft, the predictions are hiding something that did suffer, something that was old and bad, really bad, something that is growing and growing, and they pulled the trigger on it, and showing something big but holding it back. And the predictions for Sony is they don't want to show the truth, something you want but isn't expecting, something about hope, and something looking new but have a sword thing in it and is about robots. And predictions from Nintendo is hiding something that did suffer but don't want to show the truth. The time is now to come back or never, does never rest. Something brand new and extremely powerful that could affect lives, brand new and in space. Family reunions that stink could be a port, and the powerful announcement could be music related.
Yeah, I think that's a joke prediction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm relatively certain that's a joke prediction, not to be taken seriously.
I wonder if Nintendo's going to reveal the successor to the 3DS.
That makes sense.
I do plan on showing it in article format, perhaps either before or after E3.
Yeah, I think what they're going to do is, but if they're gonna announce the successor to the 3DS, it probably, if they do a successor to the 3DS, they're probably not going to do it this year. They're probably going to do it next year.
Or 2020?
Maybe even 2020, yeah. It wouldn't make sense to do it this year because there's still games coming out to the 3DS, so it doesn't make sense to do it this year.
We should hear more about the new Smash Brothers.
Oh yeah, well they're obviously going to talk about the new Smash Brothers at this year's E3. That makes perfect sense.
And according to a rumor from a few months back by a YouTuber named Master Hyrule, half of Nintendo's E3 4 is going to be dedicated to Smash, and the other half dedicated to Pokemon. Most definitely be the recently announced Let's Go Pikachu / Eevee.
Yeah, but of course they're going to find other shit too. I mean, they're going to show other shit too. It probably isn't like, it's probably going to be like small kiosks of the other stuff. It's probably going to be mostly devoted to the other stuff, to the big stuff, but they're going to talk about other stuff too.
And is anyone not surprised that Sony's show floor is next to Nintendo's?
Yeah, but isn't it always next to Nintendo's?
That I don't know. I don't remember last year.
I mean, more often than not, their stuff's near Nintendo's.
And where was Microsoft's E3 floor? On the first floor or the second floor?
What else? So, we should be hearing more about. We should hear more about a Shin Megami Tensei 5 at the show.
I'd be cool with that. I'd also be cool if they said, "Hey, we're porting Shin Megami, the Personas 3, 4, and 5 to the
Yeah.
Switch."
Yeah. Trigger Sony fanboys some more.
Man, it's not like they cared. Those games didn't sell all that well on the PS4. Considering its install base, it didn't sell all that well.
But Persona 5 was the best-selling Persona game of all time.
Like I said, considering its install base, that's still not impressive. Because think about it, the PS2 sold what, 150 million? Worldwide?
Yeah, 155.
Yeah, 155. Okay, Persona 4 sold and 3 sold how much?
Around 1 million copies.
Yeah, that's fucking embarrassing.
But 1 million units is still good.
No, I mean that's good. Look, listen. For Atlas, that's good. For the install base, that's piss poor when you look at 155 million install base. That's not good.
I think like Resident Evil 4 sold about as much as the GameCube version, the PS2 port did, and then people are claiming yes, botched it. Botched my speech right there. The PS2 port.
He's saying that the PS2 port of Resident Evil 4 sold a little bit more than the GameCube version,
but still wasn't should have sold far more than that considering the install base.
Same thing with Okami flopped on the PS2. PS2 had a much bigger install base than because Okami was originally supposed to be on the GameCube. And so Capcom got scared and moved it to the PS2 and it flopped. And then they put it on the Wii and it sold gangbusters. So, I mean, it's not only how much something sells, it's the audience and the install base. It's if you sell Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U sold what? 9 million, 9.6 million?
Yeah.
Just on the Wii U. On an install base of 14, 15 million eventually. So that's literally 2 out of every 3 Wii U owners had Mario Kart 8. That's a fucking amazing install rate if you look at the overall numbers, okay? Now, if, is that a great install base compared to the Wii U's Mario Kart Wii that sold 60 million? No.
Well, 35 million, actually.
Yeah, 35 million. No, because literally the Wii was over 100 million install base, and a third of the people bought it. But that's still a hefty number of people buying that game. So, I mean, you could say Mario Kart 8 had a higher install rate, but the numbers weren't nearly as high because smaller install base. So that's why I'm saying that, Persona 2, sold 2.5 million? Or not Persona 2, Persona 5 sold 2.5 million?
Yep. On a 70 million install base.
Yeah, on a 70 million install base, that's not impressive. I mean, it's impressive for Atlas. It's not impressive for Sony fans. So, it's.
I think even Final Fantasy VII sold 10 million on the PS1, and the PS1 was a 100 million units selling console.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy VII is still the highest selling Final Fantasy of all time.
Yeah, so one in I don't know 100 PS1 owners owns Final Fantasy VII, I guess.
Yeah, but they also released it on PC and wasn't there a Saturn port of that game?
No Saturn port.
On Capcom's side for E3, are you expecting them to show a trailer for the second story mode for Street Fighter V?
No.
I mean, they did for the first story mode.
I mean, they can do whatever the hell they want to. There's nothing Capcom can show that's going to save Street Fighter V. So, I mean, what's the point? It's why waste the money? Just I don't see the point. There's nothing they can do to save that game.
Speaking of Capcom, did you hear how they're handling the Switch version of Resident Evil 7?
Yes, it's part of their streaming service. Like you pay like $20 and you get it for 3 months. No, 100.
Stupid.
Oh, and I also got recent news that Japan is furious about the Street Fighter 30th anniversary collection because it's all in English.
Really?
Yeah, it was given by Joshua, one of our contributors of Video Game Facts.
Yeah, I have it on PC. It's not a very good port. I'm just saying it right now. It's not a very good port of those games.
Basically, the reaction to this, what he wrote is that the reaction to the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection in Japan was so negative that Capcom had to delay the game's release there until the fall, so they could replace the international versions with the Japanese versions of the games.
It's not very good. Like literally, like the voice acting that they have for Guile is so shit. In the ports of Street Fighter 2, it's oh god, the voice acting, the announcer, Jesus Christ, fuck, Capcom.
Is it Resident Evil 1 cringeworthy?
No, it's just bad. Like, okay, we know what Guile sounds like when he does his special moves, right?
Right.
Sonic boom. You know
I thought that was the original. I thought that was the original voice. Even
Sonic
version.
Boom. He does not sound like that on the anniversary edition. He sounds like he's been emasculated. He sounds like his balls never descended.
Really?
I mean, that's the Super Street Fighter version.
He sounds because I have the Super Street Fighter version in my barcades for 2 of them, and I mean he doesn't sound like that. So I mean clearly Capcom just didn't give a fuck and just did like I don't know what they ported, but it's just not right, man. It's Capcom. They fuck up simple shit. They like Square Enix. Hey, let's release a new version of let's re-release Chrono Trigger. Let's fuck it up in the most simple, easy way possible.
And or like Sega, almost.
And
they're Sega bad.
And let's not forget Konami, who are porting Super Bomberman R onto other platforms, even though it was originally exclusive to the Switch. So they're pulling a Resident Evil 4 on Switch owners by making it multi-plat rather than exclusive.
Wow. Shocker.
It's bad. It's bad. But I mean that's Konami. I mean, listen. It originally released on the Switch. It sold okay. I don't think it's going to sell that well on other platforms because, like,
especially not Xbox.
They don't care. They just don't fucking care.
You know what else? I forgot that. Yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. Man,
does it involve EA with Battlefield 5?
Yeah, who cares about E3? They suck. You mean like they're probably going to add like 1 billion microtransactions in that game?
I mean, there's people already complaining about Battlefield 5 being historically inaccurate since it takes place in World War II, and you've got female soldiers.
Huh? For what? Really?
Yeah.
For what, the American side?
Yep, on the American side.
Huh. Wow. What about the other factions? Like, do they like?
All I know so far is that there are women soldiers on the Allies side.
Yeah.
Sure. What game is this? What?
Battlefield 5.
I mean, like, people are mad because it's not historically accurate. Like, typically speaking, women weren't in combat positions. But I'm like, it's a video game. Who fucking cares? Like, if you listen, these are the same games where you get shot and you duck behind a corner. I'm pretty sure you couldn't do that in actual World War II. I've been shot. Don't worry, Steve. Just hide behind this rock. You'll heal up by yourself. Like, I mean, seriously, man. What the fuck, man? Calm down. Like, I mean, that's just a fake. That's just people just bitching just for the sake of bitching. That's not a valid. That's not a valid complaint. That's just people just wanting to be whiny little bitches. And I know some people are going to get mad. How can you say that? Because it's true.
Kind of like how paleontologists are complaining about Jurassic World evolution for using outdated dinosaur models rather than scientifically accurate ones like feathered dinosaurs.
Well, I mean, not quite, because I mean, like, here's why it's different. Because a video game is merely meant for enjoyment. Like, no one's actually, no one's gonna critique it on historical accuracy because it's a video game. By its very nature, it's not going to be accurate, because you can get shot in a Battlefield game like multiple times, and normally a normal human being would be dead, and you're still moving around in a Battlefield game. Jurassic Park, actually, at the time, because I remember watching documentaries about the making of Jurassic Park, they tried to be as accurate as humanly possible when the first Jurassic Park was made, right? And now that knowledge has gone further and people have more information, like, there are kids who grew up and wanted to be paleontologists because of Jurassic Park, okay? And now that we've, knowledge has gotten to a certain point, it kind of has to, you can't, it's like people know better. It's like one of those things. It's like back in the day, smoking used to be seen as not that bad of a thing. People are like, oh, your child suffers from asthma. Give them 2 puffs of a cigarette. Now we know that smoking is not good at all, period. But, like, for you to continue to show that now would be kind of ridiculous. It's kind of like if you watch a movie about the old times in the South, right?
Right.
And you don't mention the racism, even though, people who know anything about, the old history of the South know, yeah, pretty fucking racist. It's like, you can't really do a movie now and not at least, hey, these fuckers are racist. It would be kind of weird. So, I mean, there's a difference, because, there's some historical things that are like, okay, we know things are different. Like, no one's holding a video game to the same level of accuracy that you'd have in something that's based on trying to be based on some form of reality. I don't think. I could be wrong. I don't know everything about these things.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about E3 so far?
My thoughts are still the same.
Yeah. I remember what I was going to bring up. Like, do you think Nintendo's going to show off the N64 Classic?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
I probably suspect they'll reveal it like probably later after E3. Didn't they show the SNES Mini after E3 last year? Or was it during E3?
Like if the N64 Classic does happen, what kind of games would you like to see on it?
Well, I'm hoping that the rare Microsoft ownership doesn't compromise the inclusion of Banjo-Kazooie and Conker's Bad Fur Day onto the collection.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. I would like to see. Obviously, you're going to see Mario 64. I think
Star Fox 64.
Star Fox 64. I would like to see Diddy Kong Racing.
Mario Kart 64.
No, God, fuck no.
Mario Party 2, the best Mario Party.
No Mario parties. No Mario parties. God damn it, no Mario parties. Jesus Christ, for the love of God, no Mario parties whatsoever.
Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or
Doom 64.
I like Doom 64, but
I'm hoping they don't include Mega Man 64 and Castlevania 64 because I heard
Mega Man 64 was pretty good. Not great, pretty good. It basically was a Zelda clone, but that's okay.
Hopefully maybe they could include like the Turok games.
One of them at least, maybe Turok 2 or 3. The first one wasn't that good.
The publisher is still around.
Yeah, but someone else owns it. Like someone else owns the rights to Turok, but that's okay. I think they could work it out.
Oh, and what about? Oh, they probably won't add GoldenEye since
Or Perfect Dark.
The whole rare Microsoft.
Okay, I'll give you 20 games, and like this is my dream 20 games on an N64 classic. Mario 64, Diddy Kong Racing. These are rare games, so probably never happen. But fuck it, it's a dream. Diddy Kong Racing, Banjo Kazooie, Banjo Tooie, Jet Force Gemini. Yeah, I said it. Jet Force Gemini. Donkey Kong 64 and Conker's Bad Fur Day.
What about Wave Race 64? And F-Zero X?
I'd rather have F-Zero X over Wave Race. F-Zero X, so that's 8. Smash Brothers, the original Smash Brothers, because I mean, it's Smash Brothers.
Ogre Battle 64?
Yeah, Ogre Battle 64, that's 10. So now you have an RPG. Extreme G2.
Oh, what about Paper Mario, the original?
Yeah, why not? So that's 11. Paper Mario. So let's see, 12. Let's see, I want another fighting game. Killer Instinct Gold. Got another fighting game. Let's see. 13. Turok 2 or 3. Doesn't matter. Gauntlet Legends. That's 14. Snowboard Kids 2. Because they had a better story mode. So that's 15. Glover. That was actually a pretty fun 3D platformer. 16. Space Station Gemini, I think it was called. Space Station Gemini.
What about Resident Evil 2?
Yeah, I was about to say that too.
Resident Evil 2, Mega Man Legends, that's 18. 17, 18. 19, Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. That's 19. 20. The 20th game on a 20 game dream. I gotta go with something because
Sin and Punishment.
Yeah, I prefer that. Like, and notice I said there's no Pokemon in there because I'm about Pokemon out personally. So,
but people will be mad at you for not including Pokemon Snap, which is considered to be the best spin-off title in the series. So much in fact that they're pleading Game Freak to make a sequel to it for years now.
Oh yeah, how about the original N64 version of Animal Crossing?
That was never released except in Japan.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they have to localize that. I don't think they do that.
I mean, perhaps.
But this is your dream. This is your dream thing. So go ahead.
So how many games does it have to be?
20.
Okay, 20. So number 1 is Mario 64, 2 Mario Kart 64, 3 Ocarina of Time, 4 Majora's Mask, 5 Donkey Kong 64, 6 Kirby 64, 7 Star Fox 64, 8 Pokemon Snap, 9 Smash Brothers, 10 would be Yoshi's Story, 11 would be Mario Party 2, 3 Mario Paper Mario, 13 would be Banjo-Kazooie, 14 Banjo-Tooie, 15 GoldenEye, 16 Conker's Bad Fur Day,
Such a large library. It's really hard.
17 would be Resident Evil 2. 18 would be Bomberman 64.
That's a good game.
And number 19 would be Bomberman Heroes.
It's also a good game.
And number 20 would be Diddy Kong Racing.
All of those are really good games. Like, here's the sad thing. The N64 had a very small library, but a lot of those games are really good. You know, it was a viable console. It's a shame it didn't sell as well as the
PS1.
PS1, yeah, because it had better 3D than the PlayStation.
Like, if Sega's decided to release like a Genesis classic, would you buy it?
No.
Nah.
But
I'm not a huge Genesis fan, so like the games I really wanted for Genesis, I already have, and it's like I really just don't. You know, I'm not like enthralled with Sega because they have released a lot of Sega Genesis type compilation systems, and I just was never interested. I'm like, man, it's okay, but I'm not like in love with the Sega Genesis. I know some people are gonna get mad, like, well, you're just a Nintendo fanboy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I sold my Genesis because there weren't really that many games that interested me.
Yeah, it's like there's different types of games. Like some games for the Genesis are really awesome. Like
the Sonic games.
Well, Sparkster. Sparkster is really good.
Rocket Knight Adventures.
Yeah. Rocket Knight Adventures is really good. But
Castlevania Bloodlines.
That's the thing. I don't like I don't really like Castlevania Bloodlines. I like the SNES versions of a lot of those games. Like Castlevania Bloodlines is good, but I like Super Castlevania 4 better.
What about Contra Hardcore?
Yeah, Contra Hardcore looks really cool, but it's like
hard as hell.
Well, I mean, it is hard, but personally, I would rather like on the Sega Genesis, I would rather I'd rather play Gunstar Heroes over Contra Hardcore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You know. Also, there's in terms of shoot 'em ups, there's like Thunder Force 4.
Yep. Like the Sega Genesis, between the like of the 3 16-bit systems that we had in the 4th gen, like the TurboGrafx 16 and the Genesis had, and the Genesis had better scrolling shoot 'em ups, like much better. Because very few scrolling shoot 'em ups on the SNES were on par with what you had on the Genesis and the TurboGrafx 16. Maybe Space Megaforce on the SNES. And that's it. Like the other ones just had crippling slowdown. Just kind of sad because this SNES had so many other things going for it. It pains me to say because I'm a Nintendo fan.
The PC Engine CD had some good shooters on it.
Yeah,
like
it did.
Like Gate of Thunder.
Yep.
Lords of Thunder. Like both those games have like awesome soundtracks on them.
That's one of the reasons that I got a PC Engine. Was for those vertical and horizontal scrolling shooters. Because really, that's all you really had on the system. Like that and some platformers.
Yeah.
If you wanted it, maybe 4 RPGs. 4. It was, oh man, the TurboGrafx 16 was just, fuck. It had a very shallow library. And that's sad because a lot of those games are really good. The The Sega Genesis had a good library. It didn't have a lot of really good RPGs, but aside from that, if you didn't give a shit about RPGs, the Sega Genesis was a perfectly viable console. The problem with me was that I was an RPG nut, and if you wanted really good JRPGs, you had to go to a Super Nintendo. Like if you wanted to play Final Fantasy, Chrono Trigger, Lufia, Breath of Fire, Ogre Battle,
Fire Emblem.
Well, I would say Fire Emblem, but it never came to America.
Yeah.
And plus all the other little quirky RPGs that came to the system, like Linus, aka Paladin's Quest, Akutalion, what else? I already said Lufia.
Yep. Could say Shin Megami Tensei 1 and 2, even though those never came out here either.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you love JRPGs, the SNES was your best friend, and I'm a JRPG nut, so clearly that was the console that I was going to support in the fourth gen over the Sega Genesis. Although the Sega Genesis had like 3 really good RPGs: Shining Force 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of the third one. On the Sega Genesis, there aren't a lot of RPGs on that system.
Yeah, not really.
Maybe Langrisser? No, but Langrisser's not an RPG.
Well, it's a strategy RPG.
Shit, It was on the tip of my tongue. Shining in the Darkness, which is like...
The Genesis does have a lot of good beat 'em up games like Battle Axe and Streets of Rage.
I would say the beat 'em ups were on par with each other. Like Final Fight and Streets of Rage are about like overall, like I think like Final Fight on the SNES and Streets of Rage, like the first Streets of Rage is better than the first Final Fight. Final Fight 2 is not as good as Streets of Rage 2, but Final Fight 3 is much better than Streets of Rage 3. And I think if you go aside from that, like the SNES had good beat 'em ups, just like you had Golden Axe on the Golden Axe games on the Sega Genesis, but on the SNES you had Knights of the Round, you had King of Dragon, you had Magic Sword, and those were SNES exclusives. So, you know, it's like they were on par with each other. I don't know. They were all good. They were all good systems. The 16-bit age was a wonderful. The fourth gen was a wonderful time because every console had good and compelling games coming to it. Not like it is now, where everyone has the same shit basically coming to their systems, which is just lame as fuck, really.
Yep.
It's like, hey, I want to play the same shit you have on your console. Ugh.
And those same people are also Switch owners who are port begging third parties to port their AAA games onto the Switch. Even people who hate those games want those games ported onto the Switch, which doesn't make sense to me. If you didn't like those games in the first place, why are you asking for a Switch port?
People are just retarded sometimes.
I mean, even one of our contributors is like this as well in his videos.
Huh. Who are you talking about?
Oh, Travis Touchdown.
Oh, Travis.
I'm going to say something that people are going to get mad at, but I don't really care. Rather than this No More Heroes spinoff that they're doing, I would rather have a
No More Heroes 3?
Yeah, I'd rather have a No More Heroes 3. And I know people are going to get mad. They're going to be like, you just got to take what you... I'm going to get... Look, I'm a No More Heroes fan. I'm going to get the game regardless, but I would rather have a No More Heroes 3.
It's just a pit... Travis Strikes Back is just a pit stop for No More Heroes 3.
Like I would, except I would like for Goichi 50 Suda to do something different. Like I would like him to be fully ambitious, like to actually do a massive open world city like he did in the first game, but it was kind of like as a joke to make fun of,
The open world games.
the open world game. I would like him to actually do an open world game where like you're basically like you go
like Shenmue in a way.
Well, I would say kind of like Yakuza, where like you're like what's his name? Travis Touchdown is going to his next assassination or whatever. Maybe he's doing something different this time, but he's and
Maybe
like has
maybe he's part of like some like sort of like Yakuza type group or like clan like Kazuma is.
Could be. I mean, I don't know, but because we know the last time we left Travis Touchdown, he had basically like he's saved by Sylvia, his long lost twin brother's wife, who has divorced his twin brother, and then goes to jail for some reason, and then he like finds her and takes her out of jail, and that's the end of No More Heroes 2. It's really weird. And people will say, spoiler, look, if you didn't play it, fuck you. That's the end. But anyway, like that's the last time. So maybe something has happened and Travis Touchdown has to rescue Sylvia. Because normally in the first game, Sylvia, it seems like Sylvia's just been stealing your money, but she's actually helping you defeat the person who killed your parents. And in the second game, you're trying to get revenge for your friend Deacon being murdered by a guy you killed in the first game. So in the second game, maybe this time you have to help Sylvia. And in the third one, and basically like you're running around and then you have assassins trying to kill you, like popping up trying to kill you, kind of like in the first game where like you have just random people popping up trying to kill you. It would make sense. And I'd totally play that game. I'd be totally down with a No More Heroes 3, massive open world. You could have the mini games where you're like, that are like 8-bit, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't care. But yeah, I'd totally do that. But bring back Shinobu.
Yes, definitely. Awesome. Maybe added some new characters as well.
Yeah. Have like a crew system, kind of like
Yakuza? Or...
No, I would say a crew system kind of like I want to say GTA, where you have a crew and you can like do like little missions with them and stuff and send them off to do things.
Like GTA 5.
Yeah, or yeah, kind of like that. Like do like loyalty missions and shit to make them better.
Maybe throw in some like RPG elements like in Yakuza.
Yeah, I'd be cool with that.
Well,
I think it's time to wrap things up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not even that many news to cover for it.
Yeah, because it's quiet before E3.
Yeah, pretty much.
So here we go, folks. We're done with the podcast. Next week is Father's Day. I think it's the 8th. I think it's the 8th. I'm reasonably certain it's the 8th. Yeah, that Friday is Father's Day.
4 or 5. And next week it's E3.
I thought it was next week.
Yeah, that's what I said. Next week it's Father's Day. I could be wrong here. Let me look it up real quick because I don't want to be wrong on a. Well, it's not really an important holiday because fathers don't get shit for Father's Day, but it's like here's a steak, Dad. Thanks a lot.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's June 17th, so the week after it's Father's Day. Which means just for me, family members, even though I'm not a father, will be taking me out to eat for Father's Day, even though I'm not a father because reasons. So, yay! I'll be eating a steak. So yeah, Father's Day is going to be great. You guys enjoy it. E3 is the week after that. I mean, the week after next week, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. So enjoy. You guys have anything you want to pimp out? before we wrap things up?
Well, nothing much. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I did put up my haters guide to E3 2018, which is actually a link to I actually did it on Reddit, but I posted a link to it.
And I also posted a response to your article as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it. It was fun. It's just totally ironic. It reminds me of the Dave Chappelle haters ball.
Yep.
They need to. If we had the resources, we should do a skit. The dudes are like, "We're going to E3 to hate on everybody."
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Microsoft, show us what you're doing. You ain't doing shit. That would be hilarious. But yeah, it's a great article. You guys should go on Discus to read it.
Yeah, or Reddit. Reddit is where it is.
Yes, but on the Video Game Facts Discus is where you can find his opinion on it and the link. So with that being said, that's the end of this video. We went a little bit over, but hey, E3 is coming up, and for some people, they think it's the gamers' holiday or something. So we had to talk about it. My only thing to say about it is lower your expectations. You'll be much happier. And with that being said, that's the end of the podcast. Peace.
Brought to you by the letter orange.